Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Lead with Love podcast with Dr. Q, where we talk about love, leadership, and real life lessons that actually matter. And on this episode 21, we're going to talk about when surrender goes wrong. Quick shout out to Principal Kafali. Had a great time on your podcast today. Thanks for the invite. Now, listen, if you all are here right now, remember it's not an accident. You're exactly where you are supposed to be. So let's jump in. So, we've spent about 3 weeks talking about surrender and why leaders hold on too tight and how to build systems that can actually empower people, and how you can invite your team into real decision making and let them own the real outcomes. And I hope that you all have been kind of implementing this stuff a little bit. And I hope that you've handed something off, launched a committee, or had a real conversation with someone about stepping into leadership. And I hope something has shifted for you. Oh, I hope you let go. Because when you let go, that's where the magic is. But today, I want to talk about what happens when it actually doesn't go the way that you or we planned it. Because it'll happen. Maybe it's already happened. And here's the truth: surrender is not always going to be clean or easy. Believe me, I work on it every day. Sometimes you hand something off and the person drops it. Sometimes a committee makes a decision that creates way more problems than it solves. And sometimes you step back and what you see is not empowerment, it's utterly and complete chaos. And that moment, every instinct that you have screams, take it back. What were you thinking? Why did I do this? Just do it yourself. But this is exactly why I was holding on in the first place. And I need you all to know that moment is not evidence that surrender was wrong. It is evidence that surrender is like a skill. And like every single skill that you have, it requires practice, accountability, and the wisdom to know the difference between stepping back and walking away. We're not abandoning things, we're building capacity. So today we are going to talk about what the difference is and the line between surrender and abdication, and how to coach without rescuing people. The true essence of building capacity. And I hope by the end of this episode, you're going to better understand the difference between surrendering success and abandoning responsibility, because they are different. And you will learn when to step back in and how to do it without destroying the empowerment that you were building. And you will also walk away with kind of a coaching framework that keeps accountability alive without sliding back into control. Control. So, what is surrender not? Let me first start by drawing a very, very clear line. Surrender means that you are distributing ownership. Trust your people to lead and step back from doing all of the work yourself. Okay. Abdication means that you walk away entirely, you don't check in, there's no accountability, there's no coaching, there's no follow through. And then when things fall apart, because they will, you as the leader, you're surprised, as everyone else is. No, no, no. Surrender without accountability is not empowerment. It is literally abandonment. And the people that you hand responsibility to, they deserve better than that. You deserve better than that. One of the stories, one of the surveys from the book, really illustrated this really well. And it kind of exactly lets you know what abdication feels like from the inside. One of the leaders shared about their very assistant first assistant principal job. And they came in kind of with a little fear, leading from a little insecurity, as we all do in that role at the beginning. They were controlling, micromanaging every decision the leader was. And what they learned from the experience was that they learned how not to lead. They were so afraid of things going wrong that either over controlled or they completely withdrew, neither of which was really true leadership. So both extremes, the micromanager and the absent leader, communicate the exact same thing to the teams. You hear that? They both communicate the same. They communicate that I don't actually trust you if you're always looking and never looking. One expresses through hovering over people, and the other one expresses it through completely disappearing from people. And both leave people without what they actually need, which is present, caring, accountable leaders who believe in them enough to coach them through the hard parts. Yeah. That takes love. That takes care. That's love in action. And here's what I know from leading real people through real challenges. Your people do not need you to do the work for them. They need you to just believe in them while they figure it out. That is the space between controlling and abdicating. That is where real leadership lives. And it's a sweet spot, but it is not easy to get there. That's why this job is not easy. Leadership isn't easy. Who said it was going to be easy? Nobody. So what do you do when something you surrendered starts to go sideways? Well, the first thing, and I can't stress this enough, is that you do not take it back silently. The moment that you quietly start stepping back in and start doing the thing that you handed and trusted someone else to do, you have sent a message that the surrender was conditional, that it was only real as long as things went good. And your team will never fully own anything again because they now know that ownership comes with an expiration date, or only if we're getting it perfect. Instead, name what you are seeing. You go to the person or the team and you say, listen, I've noticed a few things and I just want to walk through this with you and talk through this with you. Can we sit down? And then you coach them. You ask questions before you give answers. You get them to do the thinking because that's how they build their capacity. Like, what's getting in the way? What have you tried? What do you need from me to move this forward? You let them lead the problem solving process. Don't do the thinking for them. Your role is to help them think more clearly, not to do the thinking. Teachers, same for you in the classrooms. Don't do the thinking for kids. The research on autonomy and accountability is very consistent. People perform better when they have ownership over their work and when there are clear accountability structures in place. Those two things are not opposites. They are partners. They go hand in hand. They're married. They should be. The most empowering leaders that I have ever seen are also the most consistent at follow through. They check in. They ask the hard questions. They expect progress, but they do all of it in a way that actually says, I believe that you can do this. Not, I'm waiting for you to fail so that I can take it back. No, they are their fail safe. They're there to help them through the thinking process with support. Jo Smith Durant, she writes that surrendering control reduces leader stress and enables focus on strategic vision, but only when it is paired with genuine investment in the people that you hand things to. Listen, you cannot release something and then disappear. Release something and invest. That is the model. It's not like a catch and release. Hard punch. You can tell I'm not a fisher because I don't even know if that makes sense. But if you hand someone a responsibility and then you don't check in, that is not trust. That is neglect. Real surrender comes with real coaching. The two are not separate. They were always meant to go together. You've got a coach to build that capacity. You've got a coach to get them to a place where they can take over more. So when is it appropriate to step back in? Because there are moments when it is absolutely necessary as a leader. And knowing the difference is what separates a wise leader from one who is either too controlling or too hands off. So when you step back in when safety is at risk, because that is your ultimate goal. When people are being harmed emotionally, professionally, organizationally, you step in. No, you jump in. You do not wait for the committee to find its footing. No, you act. Why? Because people's safety is your responsibility as the leader, your number one responsibility. It is not a failure of surrender. It is an exercise of leadership. When else? You step back in when the mission is being compromised. Oh, because you are the protector of the mission. If what's happening in your organization is fundamentally off course, not just imperfect, but completely off course, you name it, you redirect it. But here's the critical part. Listen to this. You redirect with the person, not instead of them. You say, let's figure out together how to get this back on track. Not, I'll take it from here. Thank you for your service. Goodbye. No, don't do that. Don't dismiss them. Step back in when someone is struggling and they need modeling. There's what you do it. This is actually one of the most powerful leadership moves that you can make. Instead of taking something back, you do it alongside of them. Even if it hurts and it's uncomfortable. You say, listen, let me show you what this looks like. All right. And then you demonstrate, you show them, you get in the classroom, you run the meeting, you make the difficult call in front of them, and then you hand it back. That is coaching. That is modeling. That is what the best leaders I have ever seen. They do that consistently. They do it consistently. I worked on that and I'm still working on that. That's not easy because you want to take it over. The action step this week that I want you all to do is simple, but it's going to require some honesty. Look at the responsibilities that you have released, whether it was last week or last year. Are you checking in? Or are you disappearing? Are you coaching or are you rescuing them? Are you holding people and committees accountable? Are you holding the accountability or are you looking kind of the other way because follow through is just too uncomfortable? Okay, whatever you surrendered, tend to it. Not by taking it back, but by showing up for the person that's carrying it, by supporting them. So before I let you all go, you already know, Lead with Love, 8 Heart-Centered Strategies for Exceptional Leadership. It's on Amazon. The audio is coming soon, y'all, I promise. Chapter 3 is what we've been diving into, Surrender Success. It's the full blueprint in there for everything that we've covered this month, including the stories, the research, and the practical tools for making empowerment sustainable. Surrender, let go, let it go, let it go. Next week, we are shifting gears, okay? Because it is that time of the year. We are talking about performance reviews. Some of you have already finished them, but how do you get feedback that actually builds people instead of breaking them? If you have evaluation season coming or you're in it right now, you do not want to miss this one, okay? Surrender is not a one-time decision, y'all. It's ongoing practice. It's an ongoing practice like love. And like every single practice, it will have moments where it is tested, where things go sideways. And you have to decide who you are going to be in that moment. Are you the leader who grabs it back, takes control the moment that it gets hard? Or are you the leader who stays present, stays grounded, stays curious, and stays coaching, even when it would be much faster and easier to just do it yourself? Remember, though, if you're not building capacity, you're just holding space in that building, in that organization. The leaders who build lasting organizations are the ones who choose the second option every single time. Not because it's easy, no, but because it's right. Thank you all so much again for joining me on the Lead with Love podcast. If today's message spoke to you, share it with a leader who is either holding on too tight or walking away too soon, because both need to hear this. All right. Don't forget, y'all, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss episode 22 next week. Performance reviews that actually build people. And remember, leading with love isn't a one-time decision. It is a daily choice. And so until next time, be well and lead with love. Bye.